Everyone. I'm Judie Blanchard, and I am the co-chair of the Carbondale Age-Friendly Community Initiative. And this is an initiative that was formed, actually the idea was hatched on a walk between the co-chair and me in the winter of 2018, when we both had been looking at the AARP livability programs. And I had a friend in North Carolina who was president of AARP there, and she told me about it. And so my friend Nikki said to me, well, I want to do this. And I said, well, let's do it. So in January of 2019, in my living room, we brought together about 12 people who were interested, and it turned into a steering committee of 9 volunteers. We're a steering committee. We call ourselves a caucus, and we work with our town government and other organizations, local organizations mainly, by participating in town planning and civic issues. And what we really focus on is aging, not aged. And we focus, because all of us are going to age if we're lucky. And we also focus on living and aging in community, not necessarily aging in place, because you may want to downsize, but stay in your same community. We also talk about all ages, all abilities, all contributing. So although we are a group of an older population, we really look at this as whatever we do, it's good for an 8-year-old, it's good for an 80-year-old. So when you think about someone trying to navigate a very narrow street, it might be someone with a cane, it might be a young mother with a stroller and her dog in tow. So we really look at the whole aging spectrum. And it's important to know that CAFCI does not own the designation of age-friendly community. The town of Carbondale owns that designation. We are really an advocacy group, and we are kind of the boots on the ground in many cases for the town. My co-chair, Nikki Delson, likes to say that we're the irritants. So that's who we are. But we're very nice irritants. And we are very lucky that in Carbondale, our government works in like from the bottom up, grassroots opinion, grassroots concerns come to the Board of Trustees. We have a Board of Trustees and a mayor, and then of course municipal agencies, and it percolates going upward. So it's a wonderful relationship with our local government, because they're our neighbors. We're a small town of about not quite 7,000 in rural western Colorado. And some of the things we have accomplished in 4 years, which when we look at it, it's amazing to us, is we have worked with various commissions and departments of the government. And I'll give you some examples. We have a Bike Pedestrian Trails Commission, and they have established what they call priority corridors in Carbondale. And those are corridors that they encourage people to walk on and to bike on, because they're safe and they're nice corridors. So we decided to do, using the AARP walk audit form, which we modified, we did a walk audit of all the priority corridors probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And many of them were in very bad repair, not very bad. Some of the sidewalks were in bad repair. Some of the priority corridors, they wanted you to walk on at night. The street lights weren't working. And we have a main thoroughfare that runs through town, 8th Street. And 8th Street has been on the Board of Trustees docket for 10, 15 years to do something. And so once we actually walked that corridor, it set a fire under the commission. The commission brought our walk audits to the Board of Trustees, and I want to give them a lot of money. I don't remember the exact money was put aside, and the corridor, the 8th Street corridor, was finally last year and this year completely redone in certain parts. So that was our first project that we felt really, really good about. We have also, and we have also worked with the Parks and Rec Commission and the Public Works Department in several ways. One was we noticed that there were several areas where there were no accessible benches for people, and particularly around a facility that is a rehab facility and an assisted living facility where people like to walk, but there's a whole stretch where they need to sit down. There's no place to sit. So we worked with the town and with the Public Works Department and Parks and Rec, and we installed and bought. We raised money to buy 2 benches that were accessible. The town put them in, and we've done that in several locations with benches. We also, Nikki, my co-chair, was working with a group in another town outside of Colorado that had developed a tool for accessibility of parks for people. It's called the OLAT tool. And so we tested that tool on certain of our parks to determine, were they accessible? Some were, some weren't. And then Parks and Recreation Department took that tool, modified it, and have done their own assessment. And the goal is that on our town website, the goal isn't necessarily to make every town accessible, every park accessible, but on the town website to say, this park has this park has that, this park does not have this. So if someone comes that needs accessible, they know which parks they can go to. We worked with the Planning and Zoning Commission and the town when our comprehensive plan was being updated. And we basically, what we called redlined the plan. It gave very short shrift, a couple of sentences to age-friendly, but they didn't really know what age-friendly meant. So we edited the whole thing, and just about everything we put in there was put into the plan, which was very exciting. And now, of course, what remains to be seen is implementation. We also worked with the Planning and Zoning Commission on the Universal Design Code, which is what developers have to adhere to. And we gave them lots of suggestions of education on universal design features. And they were very, very receptive. So that was really neat. And our latest meeting was with the Environmental Board to see where our concerns and the Environmental Board concerns overlap, so that we can come to the Board of Trustees with more than just one organization, bringing in different groups about different environmental concerns. We also are a Colorado Creative District, and one of our CAFG members is on an advisory board with them, because when they have events, they were really unaware of, well, what makes an event accessible? How do we make sure that everybody can come? So we work with them on that. Those are the highlights of things that we've done. And we really hope, our main challenge right now, as I've mentioned to Rachel before, is getting more people on the steering committee, because most of us on the steering committee right now are in our 70s. And we've been doing this for almost 5 years, and eventually we want some young blood. When I say young, maybe 50 or old. And we really are seeing this as something that the concept of age-friendly needs to be institutionalized in all of the infrastructure and documents of the town, because we're not going to be around forever. And we're hoping that that challenge of ours will be met within the next, hopefully, couple of years. Anyone wants to learn more about CAFG, they can go to our website, which is all one word and lowercase, agefriendlycarbondale.org. That's agefriendlycarbondale.org. And there's a place on there where you can contact us if you have further questions.